So to close out today's program, we have a keynote on a hidden crisis in an AI presented by Daniel, marketing lead at LazAI. So let's welcome Daniel to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I am Daniel Kwak. I am the CCO at Metis and the marketing lead at LazAI. The reason why I'm wearing these two hats is LazAI is heavily incubated by Metis and part of the Metis Regenesis, which is their approach to AI in 2025. So quick overview of that. One half is launching a new chain that is focused on AI, that is building a custom-made home for AI, and the other is solving AI's problems through LazAI. Now, today I'll be talking about hidden crisis in AI. It's something that nobody really talks about at the moment. It's because we think we understand what data is and how to handle data, how to transform it to, make it do what we want, right? But it's something that needs to be addressed as AIs get, bigger and better. So the paradigm for data is actually shifting, right? How we're using data and how we're consuming data, and basically what data represents to us now is becoming a bit different from what we're used to. So if you look at, for example, number one, data is no longer just information, it shapes intelligence. So until now, data has just been for our consumption, right? It's either our consumption or it was used as a tool to feed into, for example, a machine or a program to make it do what we want. But we had direct control over it, and it was ultimately, again, just for our consumption. Now, compound that with the different mediums that data has been transferred through all of history. So originally it's word of mouth, the stories that we tell, and then we created writing, and then bookkeeping, for example. All of those things can be considered data, and at the end of the day, again, it was still for our consumption. And then came the information age, and that's where data becomes digitized, it becomes massively scalable, and how we handle that data and transform and analyze and use it, again, is quite transformed. Now, with the AI age that's coming, data now completely takes on a new form, right? And it takes on a new meaning. Now, data is not just consumed by humans, it's also consumed by AI to shape the AI. And along with it comes point of view data. So, how we perceive data, we immediately understand it because once we see, for example, a ledger, then we understand that this is a ledger and it's for bookkeeping. For AI, you actually need to train it and tell it and guide it through the whole process. And that's where the point of view data comes in. For humans, we already understand intuitively because we are humans and we're growing up in this society and culture. But for AI, that's not the case. So you do need that point of data included. And of course, lastly, humans are not the only source of data anymore. AI is also generating data, and that could lead to a whole host of problems ranging from biases to hallucinations. So if you're looking at the data alignment problem, it's easy to really get a grasp of it through an example. So let's say you're creating a social agent, right? And to get that agent up and running, you created a model, and now you need to train it with data. Let's say you scraped 50 million tweets off of Twitter, so that you can have a very robust model. And you feed these 50 million tweets into the model to train it. Well, how are you telling the model which tweets are jokes, which ones are being sarcastic, which ones are inaccurate, which ones are misinformation, and who's defining that misinformation, right? All of these things are point of view data, and something that is completely missing from how we consider data at the moment. And this can have a massive impact on how that data is interpreted. As the models also get more versatile and more powerful, now the problem becomes exponentially more difficult because now you need to add more and more parameters to each data point, right? So for example, if it's a comedic AI agent that you want to launch on Twitter, then it's simple. Just feed in some jokes, feed in some Twitter accounts of comedians, and there you have it. But if you also wanted to have some insightful content once in a while, now you have to figure out how to feed it insightful content and how to label it and how to rank it and how to see which ones are good insights and which ones are not, and what topics you want to avoid and which ones you don't. So it becomes, basically to the power of the nth problem, massively increasing in difficulty and, the resources spent to actually clean that data up, right? Now, compound that with large pieces of data, usually trending towards some type of consensus on an issue or a topic. So your AI is going to be naturally aligned to the the consensus in the data set. And of course, large AI models and data are currently monopolized by the Web 2 space. So how we traditionally see as Web 2 companies versus Web 3, one's centralized, one's decentralized. One gives you ownership of our data and privacy and security, while as the other, it's really just up to the grace of the tech powerhouses. And of course, all of that combined leads to the data alignment problem. It leads to data biases, and it can lead to data hallucinations. So AI is evolving, right? Right now, it's just doing very simple stuff. Large language models is not general intelligence. We have deep AI, which is really starting to kick up, but it's very purpose-specific. But it is becoming more and more of an autonomous system, and that is, of course, what we're actually chasing towards in the AI industry. So why does AI need Web3? Like I said, right? It's the Web 2 versus Web 3 idea. But if you're looking at AI and you're looking at AI versus Web 3, you also come into the question of sovereignty, of human oversight, and of security. There's data governance, there's privacy, intellectual property rights, data ownership, assetization. All of these things can actually be solved very simply and very easily by Web3 integration. But the problem is how you're actually integrating it and what value is Web3 actually providing. And of course, with all these new problems, such as the data alignment problem, comes new solutions. We need to come up with creative ways to, because again, it's a new problem, so we've never thought of it before. So we need never thought of before solutions to tackle those problems. So LazAI offers decentralized framework that ensures new data on LazChain is verifiable, auditable, and owned by individuals. And most importantly, it is aligned to human-centric governance, right? So that we can really understand and really verify what this data or what this model or agent is aligned to. So how is LazAI actually doing that? We have three core components. One is obviously verified computing. So whatever data you're putting onto the chain will be verified through ZK proofs. And we're creating completely novel solutions to tackle it as well. The data anchoring token is, for example, a new token standard that we're launching. It is similar to an NFT in that it verifies, it's non-fungible, and it verifies the ownership of a certain data AI asset. But it also has, for example, time vectors caked into it so that you can see its evolution and track it to make sure that the point of view data is consistent with what it's being purported to be. You also have the iDAO, which is a reimagining of the DAO from the scope of the whole ecosystem and users and wallets and token holders down into what created the AI asset, whether it's a data set or model. So, for example, really easy way to put it is, let's say I own a warehouse, right? And to manage my warehouse and its inventory, I created an AI agent. Of course, I come up with the data because it's my warehouse, and I hire a programmer to create the agent. Then us two become the iDAO, and we manage the agent. Let's say a friend of mine also owns a shipping company, and another friend owns an importing company. So all three of us can have our individual iDAOs for specific purposes, but we can also connect all of them into a composable AI to create a holistic logistic solution rather than one specific piece of it. And to do all of that, the LazAI architecture is intuitive and varied. So the application layer, of course, it's the agents, it's the marketplaces, it's the coin launch platforms, the DeFi agents. Whatever you can build and whatever you do want is going to be included in the application layer most of all. And then the trusted extension layer is basically the LazAI blockchain that would include for example, the data anchoring token. We have LazVM abstractions, which of course is also parallel EVM. And we have on-chain small models, basically whatever you need to actually build out a proper network to host all of these data and agents will have. And then the interaction layer is where we actually cater to the builders as well as the agents themselves. So we have all the we will have all the developer toolkits necessary to actually help you launch and manage your data sets and agents. We have the iDAO framework, again, to help manage the actual assetized tokens and assets. And then we have, of course, schedulers and oracles and whatnot. So to get all of this actually launched, right? Because we're actually planning to launch the testnet in Q3. We don't actually have value on chain unless we have agents and we have data sets that's actually connected to it. So we developed and launched the crypto's first, I believe, crypto native launched agent framework. So it's called the Aleth, and its primary purpose is privacy. It's a privacy-first framework that also tries to, well, achieves scalability, interoperability, and modular designs. So again, it is really all about that composability. We also want the interoperability in there so that it can interact with other agents in the industry. And we want to make sure that we're covering all our bases in terms of, for example, programming languages or AI models. So again, it's multi-language, right? It's high performance, super lightweight, and it is also quite scalable as well. It's secure data handling. We're very considerate of privacy and security in AI agents. As the previous speaker said, eventually it's going to get to a point where these agents are making significant decisions, right? It's not just posting tweets for us, or it's not just helping us write our essays. It's actually going to be acting in the real world to provide value to us. And if we want to manage that securely, then of course we need to have the data handling part of it locked down as well, so that it's the origin of where the mind of the agent comes from, right? And developer friendly and as future proof as possible. Also has a bunch of features, so it's basically, it can plug into most of the current popular models from OpenAI, Anthropic, DeepSeek, and we want to make sure that we keep that door open so that we can get all of the potential strengths of each of these models, right? Highly extensible, again, high performance, and workflow support, right? So we're really pushing towards not just interoperability, but keeping up with the spirit of blockchain. So imagine when the smart contracts were first put on chain, right? It really allowed the individual to have a significant impact, infinitely scale their contributions to the network, and really be able to kind of work with others without actually being part of one centralized company like we're used to. We're hoping the same thing, and we're going to be pushing for the same thing with AI as well. So whether you're a financier or whether you're a marketer, developer, or you're providing the data, we want it to be as composable for the IDAO itself too, not just the agents. We want the individual persons and the values that they're providing to be composable. And to achieve all that this year, we just launched our agent framework. It is recently launched, so it is still lacking in some features compared to, say, ELIZA. But we will be building it out at a fast pace, and we are looking for as many builders to partake in that contributions as possible. Q3, by the latest, we'll have our testnet up, and within the year, we'll have our mainnet up. And of course, the year after that is going to be focused on adding functionality, improving performance, and improving security, and integrations. So, lastly, we have our developer ecosystem program going. We have our builders program, developer program. It's $1,000 in Metis prize pool. We're looking for any type of core contributors to the Aleth agent framework. It can be a copy of something else where you just added some improvements, or it can be wholly built by yourselves, core feature to Aleth. Whatever it is, we're looking for it, and we want your input. You can also do content creation or even agents. We're looking for basically anybody to contribute into Aleth because we want it to grow as fast as possible. So the rewards are, again, it's with the $1,000 prize pool. We also are looking for people to build their own personal brands on LazAI. So again, remember, if you're a developer, you can come on board, help other IDAOs develop their AI agents, right? And the more you build your personal brand on the ecosystem and in the community, the more you'll be asked to join bigger projects within the ecosystem, within the IDAOs, and you'll have a lot more chances to add value to the ecosystem overall. And of course, the better you do in it, there's a lot of future collaboration opportunities. As LazAI we have quite a few ideas on data sets and AI and integrations too. So we're always looking for some bright builders to join the ecosystem. And that's it. So join us when you can. We have the developer group, we have our Twitter, and the agent Twitter. Thank you very much for being here. I know I am the last speaker, so I don't know what kind of talk I should be closing off with, but it was very nice to speak to you, and I hope to meet you soon.
Thanks so much, Daniel. We really appreciate it. And that wraps up an incredible first day at the ZK Hub here at ETH Denver.